The opening match of the FIFA World Cup 2026 at the historic Estadio Azteca in Mexico City features a highly anticipated Group A clash between co-hosts Mexico and South Africa. This matchup presents a fascinating tactical dichotomy: Mexico's disciplined, possession-oriented defensive strategy against the explosive vertical speed and pace of Bafana Bafana. The narrative surrounding this game is layered with historic nostalgia. 16 years to the day, on June 11, 2010, the two nations contested the opening match of the first-ever World Cup hosted on African soil at Soccer City in Johannesburg. That memorable encounter ended in a 1-1 draw, with Sifawit Shabalala scoring an iconic opening goal for South Africa and legendary Mexican defender Rafael Marquez equalizing for El Tri. As they meet again on June 11, 2026, both teams are eager to secure a vital 3 points in a wide-open Group A that also features South Korea. Tactical breakdown: Mexico's defensive strategy. Under the guidance of seasoned manager Javier Aguirre, Mexico has heavily prioritized tactical discipline and defensive shape heading into the 2026 tournament. El Tri is known for transitioning smoothly between a compact 4-3-3 and a resolute 5-3-2 in defensive phases. The central pillar of their strategy relies on neutralizing the opponent's attacking transitions before they reach the penalty box. Guillermo Ochoa, defying age to make an unprecedented World Cup appearance, brings a wealth of experience and leadership to the back line. Mexico's defensive strategy is not merely about sitting deep and absorbing pressure, it is an organized, high-pressing system orchestrated in the middle third. By utilizing athletic holding midfielders, Mexico aims to disrupt the opposition's rhythm, forcing turnovers and utilizing their fullbacks to transition rapidly into attack. The emphasis is on structural integrity, ensuring that their defensive line is never caught flat-footed against counter-attacking teams. In matches leading up to the World Cup, Mexico's defense has showcased an ability to minimize clear-cut chances. They rely heavily on intelligent positioning and the tactical fouling of transition plays to stall rapid attacks. Against South Africa, this defensive block will be severely tested. The primary objective for Aguirre's men will be to limit the space in behind their centre-backs, denying South Africa's rapid wingers the green grass they need to accelerate and cause havoc. Furthermore, Mexico's defensive strategy incorporates meticulous set-piece defending. With the sheer height and physical presence often found in the Mexican squad, they aim to neutralize set-piece threats, which are frequently a cornerstone of African football's attacking repertoire. By controlling the tempo of the game through controlled possession, Mexico intends to frustrate South Africa and limit their time on the ball. Tactical breakdown: South Africa's speed and transition play. Bafana Bafana arrives at the 2026 World Cup with a squad built on blistering pace, technical fluidity, and high-octane transitional play. The strength of the South African side lies in their wide areas and their ability to transition from defense to attack in the blink of an eye. Manager Hugo Bruce has cultivated a system that allows his attackers to exploit the spaces left by overlapping fullbacks. South Africa's attacking strategy is heavily reliant on quick, vertical passes into the channels. They do not necessarily require prolonged periods of possession to dominate a game. Instead, they thrive on soaking up pressure, winning the ball in the midfield, and launching devastating counterattacks. Their forwards and wingers possess the kind of raw pace and agility that can unnerve even the most disciplined defensive units. In the build-up to the 2026 tournament, South Africa's speed on the counter has been their most potent weapon. The strategy is to draw the opponent forward, create gaps in the defensive midfield, and exploit those spaces with rapid, one-touch passing. Their attacking transitions are characterized by overlapping runs from the fullbacks and intelligent, darting movements from the central strikers to pull defenders out of position. Moreover, the unpredictability of South Africa's frontline makes them incredibly dangerous. They are capable of bypassing a rigid midfield press with a single long ball or an individual moment of brilliance on the dribble. Against a structured team like Mexico, South Africa's success will depend on their clinical finishing. When opportunities arise on the break, they will need to capitalize on half chances, as dominant scoring opportunities will likely be scarce against El Tri's back line. Head-to-head, H2H, history and analysis. Understanding the historical context between Mexico and South Africa provides valuable insight into the magnitude of this opening game. While the two nations are continents apart, their paths have crossed in several significant international tournaments. Their most famous meeting occurred on June 11, 2010. In front of a roaring crowd in Johannesburg, South Africa nearly pulled off a massive opening day upset. Sifuete Shabalala's spectacular left-footed strike in the 55th minute sent the host nation into a frenzy. However, Mexico's persistence paid off when Rafael Marquez found an equalizer in the 79th minute, silencing the Vuvuzelas and securing a hard-fought 1-1 draw. The result was deemed fair, reflecting a game where South Africa's exuberance was matched by Mexico's tactical experience. Prior to the 2010 clash, the two teams met in the 2005 CONCACAF Gold Cup. In that encounter, South Africa emerged victorious with a 2-1 win over Mexico. This historical result serves as a reminder that Bafana Bafana has the capability to dismantle Mexico's game plan, even on North American soil. Looking at the broader H2H records, Mexico and South Africa have faced each other twice in competitive FIFA fixtures, resulting in one win for South Africa and one draw. This statistical parity highlights the competitive nature of this fixture. While Mexico is generally viewed as a CONCACAF powerhouse with deeper World Cup pedigree, South Africa's speed and tactical unpredictability make them a stylistic nightmare for Aguirre's men. Contextualizing the 2026 World Cup Group A, the 2026 FIFA World Cup represents a massive milestone for Mexico, as they co-host the tournament and enjoy the fervent backing of a home crowd. Opening the tournament at the Estadio Azteca places immense pressure on El Tri to deliver a strong performance and set the tone for their campaign. The atmospheric cauldron of the Azteca, combined with the high altitude, will undoubtedly play a factor in the physical endurance of the players. Mexico's tactical strategy will likely aim to capitalize on this home field advantage by controlling the tempo and forcing South Africa to chase the game. Conversely, South Africa enters this match with the mentality of underdogs, a position that historically suits Bafana Bafana. With less pressure to dictate the play, they can comfortably sit back, absorb Mexico's attacking waves, and unleash their devastating pace on the counter. A positive result in this opening match would be monumental for South Africa's prospects of escaping Group A, setting a strong foundation for their subsequent matches against Czechia and South Korea. The inclusion of South Korea in Group A adds a layer of complexity. Both Mexico and South Africa understand that dropping points in the opening fixture could be catastrophic for their hopes of securing the top spot in the group. Consequently, tactical caution might overshadow outright attacking flair, particularly in the first half of the match. Managers from both sides will be acutely aware of the dangers posed by their opponents, potentially leading to a highly calculated, tense affair rather than an open, end-to-end shootout. Key matchups to watch: the clash between Mexico and South Africa will be determined by a few crucial individual and positional battles across the pitch. Mexico's midfield pivot versus South Africa's transition speed. Mexico's defensive midfielders will bear the brunt of the responsibility in stopping South Africa's rapid counterattacks. If Mexico's midfield anchors are caught too far up the pitch, South Africa will easily bypass them with vertical passes. This battle in the center of the park will dictate whether Mexico can sustain pressure or if they will be forced into a frantic retreat. Mexico's overlapping fullbacks versus South Africa's wingers. Mexico's tactical system often relies on their fullbacks pushing high up the pitch to provide width in the attacking third. However, this leaves spaces behind them. South Africa's wingers will look to exploit these exact spaces, aiming to isolate Mexico's centre-backs in one-on-one situations. The defensive discipline of Mexico's fullbacks will be continuously tested. Set pieces and aerial duels. Given the high stakes of a World Cup opening match, goals may be hard to come by in open play. Set pieces could prove to be the ultimate differentiator. South Africa's ability to deliver dangerous free kicks and corners will test Mexico's defensive organization, while Mexico's height advantage will pose a constant threat on offensive set pieces. Tactical nuances and game flow predictions. As the match unfolds, the game flow is expected to follow a predictable pattern. Mexico will likely dominate possession, controlling the tempo and probing for weaknesses in South Africa's defensive block. El Tri will look to stretch the pitch, using their technical superiority in midfield to move the ball from side to side, patiently waiting for the right moment to penetrate the final third. On the other hand, South Africa will maintain a disciplined low-to-mid defensive block. They will be content to concede possession in non-threatening areas, focusing instead on maintaining their defensive shape and denying Mexico's central passing lanes. Once South Africa regains possession, the tempo will shift dramatically. They will attempt to launch rapid, 3-4 pass transitions, utilizing the pace of their wingers to get in behind Mexico's defense. The opening 20 minutes will be crucial. Mexico will likely throw numbers forward in an attempt to secure an early goal and settle the nerves of the home crowd. An early Mexican goal would force South Africa to abandon their defensive posture, thereby opening up the game and creating more space for Mexico's attackers. However, if South Africa manages to withstand the initial pressure and keep a clean sheet in the first half, their confidence will grow, putting immense pressure on Mexico to force the issue in the second half. Score prediction and in-depth analysis. Predicting the outcome of such a finely poised opening match requires weighing Mexico's tactical discipline against South Africa's explosive speed. El Tri's experience, coupled with the formidable backing of the home crowd at the Estadio Azteca, makes them the favorites. Their defensive strategy under Javier Aguirre is designed to mitigate risks and neutralize counter-attacking threats. However, South Africa's ability to exploit high defensive lines makes them a formidable threat. Bafana has the tools to breach Mexico's defense, particularly if they can isolate their speedy forwards against Mexico's centre-backs on swift breaks. Given the historical context of their previous World Cup meetings, this fixture has a propensity for closely contested, tense scorelines. Considering the tactical approaches, a draw remains a highly plausible outcome, just as it was in the iconic 2010 opening match. Mexico will likely find a way to break through South Africa's defense, but South Africa's pace will almost certainly result in at least one dangerous counter-attacking opportunity that they can capitalize on. Taking into account the immense pressure of the World Cup opening game, where teams often prioritize not losing over winning, a low-scoring stalemate is highly likely. The predicted final score for this Group A opening clash is a hard-fought 1-1 draw. This result would keep both teams in the hunt for qualification while reflecting the strengths and weaknesses of both tactical setups. Conclusion: setting the tone for World Cup 2026. The opening match between Mexico and South Africa at the 2026 FIFA World Cup represents more than just a Group A fixture, it is a tactical clash of styles. Mexico's defensive strategy will face its ultimate test against South Africa's blistering speed and counter-attacking prowess. With the legacy of their 2010 encounter hanging in the air, both teams have a point to prove on the grandest stage of them all. Whether Mexico's organized defensive block prevails or South Africa's speed dismantles their tactical structure, the match at the Estadio Azteca promises to be an enthralling spectacle. As the 2026 tournament kicks off, this opening game will set the tone for what is expected to be a historic and fiercely competitive World Cup.